Hey, Mike with Nerd Problems Gaming here, the channel where we go through the good and bad of everything nerdy to make sure you spend your time on the best of the best. In today's video, I'll be doing a review and a guide on how to play Battledigm, the deck building game, so let's get into it. So this game is a two-player deck building strategy card game, and it's kind of like a combination between a deck builder and then a battle arena consisting of rock, paper, scissors type battles. So one thing I like about this game is the artwork is really cool inside. It's high quality cards and it's a quick play time as you play the game. Most games take around 15 to 20 minutes to get through the entire game. So that's great. It's not super long or drawn out as you play. And I think if you're new to deck building games, this could be a great place to start. So let's jump into the actual cards and walk you through how to play the game, and then we'll jump into the review after that. Alright guys, so jumping into how to play, it's pretty simple to set up the game. You're going to start by having your metal pile here in the middle, and then you want to start by building your starter decks. And so this is just going to be 2 starter cards of each color, and so you separate those out into their own decks. And again, it's going to build a deck of 10 cards for each player to start out with, and this is going to be your base deck for each player. So once you have built these out, you can just shuffle them up, and then the rest of your cards are going to be your champion deck, and this is basically the cards that you're going to buy throughout the game. So what you do is you just simply shuffle these up. You can put them up at the top here. So now the champion deck has been set up. Each player has their starter deck. Each player will start with 1 medal each, and then you can leave the remaining medals over here in just kind of a medal pile. So as players win cards, they earn medals and they can take them from here. So once you've shuffled up the champion deck up here, you just deal out 3 cards, and these are going to be what form your champion pool that you can buy these cards as you play and get more medals throughout the game. So each player is just going to simply draw 5 cards for their hand. So as you can see, they're going to just consist of starter cards really at this point. So each player will simply choose 1 card for each battle, battle 1, 2, and 3 from their hand. So hold the other player. And then you'll simply flip these over and see who wins. So in this case, it's a stalemate. Green cannot beat green, so you just go on to the next card. Got red versus green. So now in this case, red is going to beat green. So you'll just simply put a medal on top of that, signifying that they won. Again, we'll flip up the third one. And so now in this case, red beats yellow. So now you can see that there's 1 win on each side, and so it ends up in a tie, and at this point you go into what's called an impasse break. And so now each player is going to choose a card from their hand and kind of have a last final battle to see who wins. So this one picks this one picks this from their hand, and so now in this case, blue beats purple. So now this player has more wins overall. If it happened to be a tie, no one would gain a medal, and the player that first won a battle in this series that isn't a tie is going to actually be able to buy from the champion deck first. And these cards here that were revealed aren't actually discarded, they go back to your hand for the players to be able to use further on in the game. And if the battles didn't end up being a tie, the person that simply won the most battles here in this area would be the first one to be able to buy from the champion deck. So at this point, you collect your money, goes back to your pile. And now this person, since they won more, are going to be able to buy first. So now since you start with 1 medal, at this point, this player has gained 3 medals total, and this player has 2 total. Now each player starts with 1 medal to begin the game. Since this player won 2 medals and this one won 1, they now have 3 to buy from the store, and this player has 2 to buy from the store. So looking at these cards, we've got a 3, and a 1. This player is going to decide to buy this card. So it's a rank 3, so it costs 3 medals to buy. And then again, you can read the description down here, which gives you an additional effect that the card has. Now some effects work immediately, some work when something happens. So again, if this card wins, this card effect would take place. And so there's various effects that you just simply need to read the card and see how they work. But this is going to go in my discard pile. And then I'll further add these cards that I played. This one from the impasse break goes back to my hand. These ones are discarded, and we'll immediately flip up the next card that people can buy. So now it's going to go to this player's turn. They have 2 medals. These 3 were spent. I'll spend 1 to buy this card, and now that goes into my discard pile. I'll flip up the next card. Again, this card that was in the tie goes back to the hand, and these go into the discard pile. Now the next round begins, so each player is going to draw back up to 5 cards. And they have their new hand, and the same thing will repeat, where we put down 3 cards for each player. And the battles would happen again, starting with battle 1. Okay, blue, it's purple. Yellow beats blue. And purple beats yellow. So in this case, player 1 won all 3 battles. They get the $3. This player gets none. Now player 1 gets to buy first. So I'll use my 3. Buy this card, add to my deck. These are discarded. Boom. And so now at this point, each player is going to have to draw back up to 5 cards. So as you can see, my deck only has 2 in it, so I would draw these 2, then reshuffle this deck, and then draw up to my 5th card, making my new hand. And so this play just really continues until all of the champion deck is empty, and all the remaining champions have been purchased by the players. And then when it comes to winning, it's the player that has the highest score by adding up all the ranks in your deck at the end of the game. And if there is a tie at the end of the game, the winner is decided on who has the most cards in total. So now that you've seen a bit on how to play, my review on the game is I think that it's a great place to start if you're new to deck building games, or maybe you're introducing someone to deck building games for the first time, or maybe you're playing with a younger crowd, maybe your kids, because I think a lot of the battles tend to be a little bit more randomized with that rock, paper, scissors mechanic. And while you do build more powerful cards as you go along, I didn't necessarily feel like that was a determining factor on whether I was going to win the game or not. And a lot of the times I would feel like it didn't necessarily even matter what cards I was picking. Certainly some extent there were different abilities that cards would have, but overall, it didn't necessarily seem to matter which one I chose or which order I put them in, unless I was getting to the point of almost card counting to guess what my other combatant, another player I was playing with, was actually going to lay down. I think too, a lot of the ranking system maybe could have been improved, where some cards didn't necessarily have a really high rank, but I felt like they were super powerful, and those maybe should have been higher ranking cards to make it a little bit more challenging to get. And so a lot of the time, like I said, it kind of came down to randomness almost, where you're just laying down the card and hoping you beat that other player in that rock, paper, scissors match. And so it didn't necessarily even matter what card I put down at that point. But like I said, there definitely is some strategy elements to it, so that enhances the game a bit. But I think if you're an experienced deck builder playing this type of game, you might get a little tired of the randomness that goes in with the rock, paper, scissors type battles. But I think if you're new to the genre, you've maybe never even played a deck builder, I think this is a great entry point into this type of game, because it's really easy to learn, it's easy to pick up and play, the games are fast, and the rules are pretty intuitive. But again, guys, let me know in the comments below if you think this game looks fun. If you want to pick up a copy, there'll actually be some links in the description where you can go ahead and pick this up. But let me know as well if there are other deck building games I should check out. I love this type of game, so it's always on my radar to find new cool ones to check out. And if you like this video, be sure to smash that like button. And so if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out here. And if you'd like to help support the channel, pick out content and more, consider becoming a patron of ours over at nerdproblemsgaming.com/Patreon. And if you'd like to plug into our live streams and Let's Plays that we do on the channel, you can follow us over on Twitch at nerdproblemsgaming.com/Twitch. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.